Imagine being locked away in a prison notorious for its inescapable design, surrounded by treacherous waters and armed guards at every turn. The very thought of breaking free from Alcatraz Island seems like a pipe dream. But what if I told you that some brave souls dared to challenge the odds and attempt the impossible? This is the tale of a group of prisoners who refused to surrender to their fate and instead banded together to plot an escape unlike any other. It's a story of cunning, bravery, and determination, where every move is a risk, every decision is crucial, and every moment is a race against time. This is the story of Frank Morris, John Anglin, and his brother Clarence, who accomplished the unthinkable. A cryptic correspondence has emerged lately, believed to be from one of the three notorious prisoners who fled the infamous Alcatraz prison in 1962. The letter, purporting to be from John Anglin, was reportedly sent to the San Francisco police in 2013, but only recently came to light, adding to the mystery surrounding the daring escape. "My name is John Anglin," reads the letter. "I escaped Alcatraz in June 1962. Yes, we all made it out that night, but barely." Nestled in the heart of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz Island was once home to one of the world's most secure prisons. Dubbed the Rock, this formidable fortress held some of the most dangerous criminals of its time, including notorious figures like Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly. But it wasn't just its notorious residents that made Alcatraz stand out. It was also its rich history, dating back to its use as a military prison during the Civil War. That added to its reputation as an impenetrable fortress. From its steel bars to the treacherous waters that surrounded it, Alcatraz was designed to keep even the most daring escape artist locked away. Yet, despite its reputation, a select few were not deterred and attempted to break free, including Frank Morris, John Anglin, and his brother Clarence. Frank Morris was a man shrouded in mystery. With a reputation for being one of the most cunning and determined criminals of his time, he arrived at Alcatraz in January 1960 after a string of convictions for bank robbery, burglary, and other crimes. Despite being housed in the world's most secure prison, Morris was not one to be contained easily. He had a history of attempted escapes from various prisons, showcasing his unwavering determination to break free. Upon his arrival at Alcatraz, Morris was introduced to John Anglin, a fellow convict with a similar thirst for freedom. The two quickly became friends, and soon after, John's brother Clarence arrived at the prison, completing the trio of determined escape artists. The Anglin brothers had a troubled upbringing, growing up as part of a family of seasonal workers who struggled to make ends meet. This poverty pushed the brothers towards a life of crime at a young age, with their first known offense being a break-in at a service station at just 14 years old. The brothers quickly escalated their criminal activities, eventually getting caught for robbing the Columbia Savings Bank in Columbia, Alabama, and being sentenced to 35 years in prison. After multiple failed escape attempts from the Atlanta penitentiary, they were eventually transferred to the notoriously secure Alcatraz in 1960. The final member of the escape group was Allen West. Before being sentenced to prison for auto theft in 1955, serial criminal Allen had already been detained more than 20 times. After being sent from Atlanta Penitentiary to Florida State Prison, he made an attempt at escape and was captured, ending up in Alcatraz in 1957. Together, the four men formed an unbreakable bond and began to hatch a plan that would go down in history as the greatest prison escape ever attempted. On June 12, 1962, it was just another routine day at Alcatraz, until a guard making his morning rounds discovered a shocking sight. As he approached cell block D, he noticed something peculiar about the three cells he was assigned to check. The prisoners inside, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, were nowhere to be seen. Instead, the guard was met with three dummy heads made of papier-mâché and hair that were meant to fool the guards into thinking the prisoners were still in their cells. Alarmed by this discovery, the guard quickly raised the alarm, sending shockwaves through the prison. The warden in charge, realizing the magnitude of the situation, immediately notified state and federal authorities, as well as the U.S. military. An intensive manhunt was launched as authorities scrambled to find the missing prisoners and bring them to justice. As the manhunt began, the authorities were met with a mystery that would leave them scratching their heads for years to come. In the cells of the missing men, the guards found evidence of a meticulous plan. The FBI, the Coast Guard, and the Bureau of Prison Authorities worked tirelessly to uncover the truth behind the daring plan. As they pieced together the evidence, a picture started to emerge of the sheer determination and ingenuity of the three convicts, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence. The preparations for the escape had begun the previous December when one of the convicts stumbled upon some old saw blades. Utilizing crude tools, including a drill fashioned from a vacuum cleaner motor, they gradually widened the holes around the ventilation ducts under the sinks in their cells, hiding their progress with painted pieces of cardboard. During music hour, Morris would play his accordion to mask the sounds of their drilling, using the time set aside each day for calming the prisoners down with music. Once they were able to fit through the holes, the men set up a secret workshop in the top level of their cell block. With the help of stolen and donated raincoats, they constructed a raft and life jackets, carefully stitching and sealing the rubber on the hot pipes in their workshop. The raft and jackets would be crucial to their escape plan, which was carefully crafted down to the smallest detail. The escapees were smart and resourceful, crafting realistic decoys of themselves in order to keep their nighttime workshop hidden. They created the decoys out of a combination of soap dust, toilet paper, and toothpaste, molding them into the shape of their heads. Then they added finishing touches like paint from the maintenance workshop and real human hair from the barbershop, giving the decoys a lifelike appearance. During their workshop hours, these decoys were placed on their pillows, while their beds were made to look occupied with clothes and towels stuffed under their blankets. This clever ruse allowed the men to work uninterrupted on their escape plan. Their next challenge was getting out of the building itself. The ceiling was a daunting 30 feet high, but with determination and resourcefulness, the convicts used a network of pipes to climb up and eventually pried open the ventilator at the top of the shaft. They kept it in place with a fake bolt made from soap, but the rest of their escape remained a mystery. The truth behind their risky scheme is still one of the greatest questions in American history. The fate of Morris and the Anglins is still unknown, despite numerous investigations and searches over the years. While their daring escape from the notorious Alcatraz Island was the talk of the town, no one could say for sure whether they actually made it to the mainland. The evidence was fragmented, with only remnants of their makeshift raft found near Angel Island. The official version was that they had drowned in the treacherous waters of San Francisco Bay, while others whispered that they had made it to the mainland, disappeared into the night, and started a new life under assumed identities. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no trace of the fugitives was ever found, leaving the authorities and the public in a state of uncertainty and disbelief. Some say that the men were aided by underworld connections or sympathetic sympathizers who provided them with food, money, and shelter. Others believe that they perished in the freezing water, unable to overcome the powerful currents and rough waves. West, who stayed behind, revealed the men's plan to reach Angel Island, swim to the mainland, and steal new clothes from a store. But despite this, no crime of this nature was reported. The authorities searched high and low, but no bodies were found in the bay, leaving people to wonder if the escapees had perished in the strong currents of the water. The disappearance of the three men was a true enigma, causing people to imagine the worst. Their families were left with nothing but questions, and their fate was left forever uncertain.